How would it feel to have a thriving fitness business and have the freedom to enjoy life at the fullest? Well, that is exactly what the Trainer Revenue Multiplier Show is going to give you. My name is Matthew Park. This is Jamie Filer.
Hey guys.
And we are here to serve.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Trainer Revenue Multiplier podcast. I am your host, Jamie Filer, and I am joined / co-hosted today by Professor Park. How are you, sir?
Fantastic, Filer. I was kind of waiting for like that golden moment, and you pretty much just nailed it. It's like I saw your almost like a Matrix freeze, like Keanu Reeves Matrix freeze.
Yeah, but I mean, man, I was waiting for your golden moment, and I didn't want to take it. But here we are.
Well, we both took that one perfectly. Esprit de corps style. Just had some fun.
There it is.
Platinum. You're all fired up. I'm fired up. And we're just going to start September off with a bang.
Absolutely. Absolutely, we are. Yeah. I mean, we had a solid group coaching call last week. First one of the new group. We got platinum today. It was amazing. It was amazing. We're crushing it in TRM, if I do say so myself.
Well, I have to kind of agree with you on that one there, Jay Meister.
Yeah.
I love it. So I love it. So we got September's here. Mm-hmm. We are in the midst of almost coming to the midpoint of gold, probably the 9th module in TRM gold. Everything right now is ramping up, which is fabulous for TRM. We love that. And of course, as a concept, we actually just released. Of course, you're a master at Jamie, as we always are. You know, the 3 tiers of database activation.
Thank you. Yeah.
And we're like, let's share a concept to add some value to our listeners that expands on database from our previous training material, right? Yep. To add value for lead generation and so forth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think it would be prudent, as always, to start off with defining terms. So Matthew, what is a database? Why do we keep calling it a gold mine? Why are those terms interchangeable? What does it mean to activate the database? Can you clarify what those things mean?
You bet. So a database is people that already know, like, and trust you over the period of how many years you've been maybe coaching or not coaching. It could be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It's current clients, old clients, colleagues, friends, family, possibly new leads who ask information about your coaching services. Why is it a gold mine? Well, because it is people who actually already know you. They've already either heard of you or worked with you or just asked you a question or heard of you from somebody else. Okay. Activating a database, as we of course have in TRM, is one of our first major steps next to the offer, because obviously our warmest leads, our best leads come from a gold mine called our database. And whether you have a database of 20 people or 5,000 people, it's still a database.
Yep. And I think so many people are quick to jump to the shiny new objects, which we are usually the first to deter them from. I don't even think, to this day, there have been 23 iterations of TRM Gold, and not once have I seen a module on a Facebook ad, but we get people from 0 to 25, 30, 35K per month. So if you don't believe in the power of your database, there it is, right? 4 years, 23 sessions later of TRM, and we still don't talk about Facebook ads because we don't need to.
Yeah. Even your business, Jamie, has all been through organic.
Oh yeah. I've been banned from Facebook ads since February of 2021, which is only about a year and a bit after I started my online business. And I've not thought twice or ever had like a woe is me moment that I haven't sought out paid traffic. And yet here I am taking on like 2 employees and I have a full-time VA. And that's again, without Facebook ads or Instagram boosting posts.
Yeah. Isn't that, which kind of is, it's nice to hear that because it gives an example of how you built your business, how we built TRM over the last how many years. We haven't even used Facebook ads in the last year. In TRM, we actually had our biggest growth year for the company without any paid advertising whatsoever. You know what I mean? So it kind of goes into showing the power of organic database activation.
Exactly. So that brings us to the TRM tiers, the TRM gold mine tiers. The base level is essential. The middle tier is opportunity. The minor one is multiply. And if I had to equate this to someone's fitness journey, essential is like nailing your sleep and your stress levels. Opportunity is getting in your workouts and your food. And multiply is when we start to talk about supplements, meal timing, intermittent fasting, drop sets and supersets. Is that kind of how you think about it, Matthew?
That was perfect. Like that was literally 2 more slides for our presentation.
There you go. You can have that one. So let's start with essential. Let's talk about sleep, stress, right? Let's talk about the basics of nurturing your database. What is mandatory? Where do we start?
Totally. So the first thing is literally doing the basics around email and SMS marketing. So when you've compiled your database together in a spreadsheet and then obviously into a CRM, maybe it's Mailchimp, maybe it's the Eng, maybe it's another CRM, and you've got 100 emails or you got 1,000 emails or you got 5,000 emails, doesn't really matter. Are you actually nurturing your list once a week at minimum? Okay. Number 2, are you SMS nurturing your list twice a month at minimum, right? And then number 3 is, are you actually doing social media posting on a daily basis, adding value and education and storytelling? This is kind of your niche, not mine, not more of your thing, Jamie, as opposed to my thing, but are you adding that sort of value in social media as well? And if those are the 3 essentials, and obviously as others, but those are the 3 basic ones that if you aren't doing those, then don't be doing Facebook ads.
No, that's so perfect. But Matthew, I mean, what if someone's thinking, okay, so I obviously, I have 25 clients right now and I have 200 old clients from the last 5 years of business. Are you telling me that I'm supposed to send them the same emails, or how do you differentiate your list, right? Like you said at the beginning of this call, you have your old leads, you've got your colleagues, your friends and family, you've got your current clients. Does everyone receive the same everything?
Great question, Jamie. So that is actually going to work both ways. You're going to have emails where you're going to have general nurturing education emails. That could be a podcast. It could be a tip of the week. It could be repurposing a video that you did that was really, really good to nurture your whole base. You're also going to have tagged people in your, if you have a CRM, tag people who actually could be old clients, or maybe there's 100 people in there that could be getting a specific stream of 12 emails that talk about success stories, that talk about value driven directly to their pain points, that educate them on more things. And that can be automated. Also can start manually, then of course can be automated after that. So you almost have areas where you can automate a sequence that gets nurtured over time. You can also repurpose the same thing over again if you need to. And also you can do where you nurture your whole list, whether it's new, old, current, with information that just adds value in general with the basic call to action at the very end.
Yeah. And I love how even within essentials, like you said, you kind of have a pyramid. You've got emails as the base, you have social media, and then you have text messages as kind of like the apex, right? So if you don't mind, I would like to share how I do the essentials. So like Matthew said, I use the TRM engine in order to tag and differentiate between current, old, and prospects. Now, everyone who's opted in is on my newsletter list. That is the lowest common denominator. That is the lowest hanging fruit. Once a week, something goes out with a mindset tip, a workout tip, and a nutrition tip. And they're welcome to opt out if they want, but that's my way of always delivering value. Then once every quarter, so once every 3 months, I hire someone to go through a list of over 400 of my old clients and send them emails asking how they're doing, not asking if they'd like to opt back into the program or how their fitness goals are going, but we pick something relative to the season, the weather, a holiday, something like that. And we say, tell me about life. And then from there, we hope to get some conversations flowing. And then, like you said, social media content goes out to anyone, anywhere. Text messages are pretty much reserved for current clients only.
This is great. This is really good. So newsletter, every quarter, go through your list, almost like audit your list.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
To do some reach outs for nurturing, and SMS for current clients.
That's it. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. 100%. And you've spoken before about like social media channels that you focus on. Is your database on social media? It's funny. I had a coaching call with Karina this morning, and she said that the majority of her old clients don't open emails just in general. Right. And we know that emails have like a 30% open rate. but DMs and text messages have like an 80% open rate. So she said she goes back through questionnaires, she puts them into her Google Sheet, and then she contacts old clients specifically through text message and social media because she knows that the engagement there will just be higher.
That's beautiful. So
Yeah.
we talked about SMS,
Yep.
email, and
Yep.
social media. This is the big three.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
There's
And now
level one.
there is, well, we have one that isn't often used because we forget in 2023 that people receive mail.
Oh, I love that.
Right? So Mathew, what would you mail somebody? What would you send in the post office?
Well, it's actually funny because we actually shared a TRM wisdom video recently from a gal named Jamie Fowler about the love languages and gifts. If you guys want to take a look at that video, please watch it because Jamie shares a very interesting tip about gifts. We actually, just to share internally, we actually gave a gift to one of our members because she was going through a lot of challenges. You know who she is, Jamie, and that gift lit up her week. From a gift from TRM, from us. So that can be things like mailing a gift, like flowers, or it could be one of your T-shirts. It could also be, if you want to be really old school, Dan Kennedy style here, is if you want to go postcards or flyer style. Okay, here's a nugget there that we often forget. If you're going to go that route, you'll need to have a sequence to go out over the course of 3 months. So don't expect just to mail somebody a flyer and think you're going to get a bunch of sales. People need to see your material. So if you're going to do that, which is totally fine, just make sure you do it for a period of time, and they should probably get 4 to 6 touch points of mail from you over 3 months.
Yeah. And I will say that if you use Canva or Vistaprint for little postcards, it's quite inexpensive even to print them out en masse. Like I believe there's actually someone in TRM who, you know who it was? It was Megan and Kyle. And they purchased like 5,000 flyers, and to send it out just to their zip code, it was like $250 or something that you pay the post office in addition to Canva or Vistaprint to do your postcard. So, I mean, even if they sold like 5 memberships out of 1,000 flyers, they made their money back.
100%.
It's pretty cost effective. The other great thing, guys, about sending things in the mail, especially if it's flowers or somebody signs on and you send them a pair of workout bands because they tell you that they have no equipment and they don't know what to get, they're going to end up tagging you on Instagram as a thank you, or, oh my gosh, look how considerate and thoughtful my coach is. And obviously that's not why we do it, but it's like, man, my coach didn't send me bands when I signed on. Also, Christmas cards, right?
Yep.
You and your family, or you and your team, on a Christmas card, send it out to all of your current clients if you can afford it, all of your past clients as well. They're going to put it on their mantelpiece. People are going to come over for holiday parties. They're going to be like, is that did your coach send you a Christmas card? And you'd be like, yeah. They'd be like, oh my God, my coach doesn't send me a Christmas card. That's really cool. So again, nurturing, relationships, building, love, heart, all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, the power of gifts. It's funny, mailing, Jimmy, you mentioned that because, mailing 10 years ago was a big thing, but we would get junk mail like crazy.
Yeah.
And now I almost sense in the next 1, 2, 3 years, mail's going to get bigger.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It's going to get bigger. Very few are doing it. Yeah. It's going to go back 100%.
Yeah. Second tier of the pyramid, opportunity. Opportunity to what, Mathew? Opportunity for what?
So within your database, you're going to also make notes of who that person is and what, of course, they do for work. I'll give you an example. Let's say you had a list of 50 people in your database, 5 of which people, one owned a barbershop in town.
Yeah.
One owned a physio clinic in town. One may own a supplement company in town, right? I'll use our barbershop, for example, that has probably a slew of female clients coming to that person or that facility, for services, right, of some kind.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity because if, for example, your fitness business is targeting moms, 35 to 40 years old or 30 to 40 years old, and you want to get more moms into your business and you partner with your client who owns the barbershop in town or the pedicure place in town, and they have a list of 500 customers on their CRM. That's pretty beautiful. So now you actually create what this opportunity would basically is a plan where you do, not only do you do like, physical stuff like a VIP card, but what's more important is touch points. So say, for example, for 3 months, you work on an arrangement with them where you do newsletter, tips, like you mentioned, Jamie, into their actual newsletter tips, right?
Yeah.
You do some email to their actual database. You do a couple SMS tips, like say 1 a month, just to kind of like add value, because they have to get to know you, So if you're just doing one thing to a bunch of customers, they're like, who the hell is this person? Excuse my French, So all of a sudden they see you 10 times over 3 months in different areas in their database. Well, now that collaboration opportunity becomes very, very good.
Absolutely. So that's interesting you say that, the familiarity, right, Matthew? So there's something called the mere exposure effect. And that is, the more we see something, the more we just inherently like it.
Yeah.
Right? The more familiar we become with it, right? Like you said at the beginning of this call, know, like, and trust you. Sometimes they just have to see your face 10 times to be like, yeah, I would trust this person. They look friendly enough, right? Like, I kind of like what they're about. The other thing that's really cool about that is it builds trust with the other person. So, for example, let's use a supplement company, right? Like we like to partner with Magnum, right? So if you, Matthew, tell me about Magnum and Magnum works out well, I buy in even more with you. Yep. So it's in your best interest to only recommend the best. So you have, an example of Reg, the realtor. He starts talking about how I've helped him with stress and overwhelm. Reg knows that I'm amazing. The more Reg tells his Remax people about me, the more people start to trust Reg in general. So this works out so well for that middleman also to build authority within their niche, which is
I
really
love that. And you're right, Jane, because say it's Reg, the realtor, and you go into his network because a lot of your avatar clients maybe are realtors for your business. Maybe they are. And all of a sudden they're seeing your face at maybe a once a month lunch and learn at their monthly meetings. You're in their newsletter, you're in their email list, adding value to realtors on stress and anxiety and functional movement when they're out selling homes all day long, right? So all of a sudden this, 100 Remax people, all of a sudden 25% are like, oh my gosh, I want to hire Filer because she's just so darn good and she knows what I'm going about. But they saw you so many times in that opportunity place.
Yep. 100% agreed. And then the last thing I'll say before we move on is, if that person is a little bit unsure, what I would do is create a script for them. Matthew, at the end of all of our TRMs, when we say, hey guys, do you know a trainer friend of yours who could benefit for the gift of a thriving business? Here's the script to send to them, right? Just make it so easy and frictionless for that person to recommend you. Say, here, to invite all of your realtor friends to my Facebook group using this paragraph, and I will handle it from there. Or put us in a 3-way with the principal of the school, right? This might be a teacher, and you're saying, hook me up with the principal of the school using this introductory email. Just make it as easy as possible for that person, because again, they're doing you a favor.
Oh my gosh, that's so good, Jamie. 100%.
Awesome. Okay. And then the last tier, Matthew, is multiply. What the heck are we multiplying?
It's a good one, Jamie, actually. All right. So multiply is taking, say, for example, we use an example of a nucleus and then multiplying the nucleus. So one thing done just to multiply the one thing. Here's an example. Let's say that, Jamie, of course, you used to work for a magazine for many, many years. And of course, you were the head publisher with them. Let's say, for example, that I'm just going to say an example that you were actually writing for the magazine at this point again, and you wrote this amazing article to their thousands of viewers, right? So your article gets published. That's one thing, right? Goes in there. All of a sudden, it creates more authority in your niche for them from the magazine perspective. They publish the article. It goes to all their listener base, reader base. It goes on their newsletter, their website, all that kind of jazz. And you take that thing and you repurpose and multiply it in many different ways. For example, you use it for a blog post on your website. You take and make it into multiple reels, pull points out of it, make it into multiple reels. It can be like 5 reels for the next month in your social media that you can have content for. You use it as leverage to get on the next magazine. It's like, hey, by the way, I was in this magazine. Look, I want to get in this magazine too. So now it's on your website. It's on your blog. It's used in social media probably 10 different times. You email your list about it multiple times. You ask them to email their list as well, their email list. So the distribution is multiplied because of one thing.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. which also speaks, and I mean, we've covered this so many times, but why it's so important to be an authority and to have a niche, because then you'll know exactly who to go after, right? I wouldn't just choose any podcast about health and fitness. I mean, maybe I could, but chances are 1 out of 1,000 people is going to be my target market. Whereby if I chose a distribution channel like a podcast specifically geared towards the LGBTQ community, that would multiply even more my impact on my community. So also be careful where, not be careful, but be more discerning where your articles, your blogs, your podcasts, your social media content goes and who you collaborate with. Be more strategic about it.
What I like about that is I remember you brought a guest on our podcast. Her name was Rachel. Was it Rachel, Jamie?
Yeah.
So you took one person, I'm going to use as an example. So you took one nucleus. Rachel was kind of your nucleus, and she had all these contacts. This is kind of a multiplier example, guys, right? So I'm sure that from what I heard, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, she got you, I believe, on this big boat with Katie. You guys did this big boat thing. She got you in this other event, speaking over here. I'm sure there's probably 5 more things, but one nucleus from her database, right, created probably 5 or 7 or 10 more things. There's probably 5 more coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, 100%. And again, she is not selfish, right? Like, she introduced me to the guy who took us to Portland, and she wasn't on the trip. But she's just like, yay, because what he's doing also helps the community. And because you and Katie are so awesome, it actually makes me look better that I sent him 2 amazing influencers. So again, multiplication, impact, everyone's thriving and happy, and we're all working together.
This is awesome because you just took a 1 mile deep analogy, Jamie, okay, as opposed to a 1 mile wide. You took a 1 mile deep approach with Rachel, and you probably still are to this day, where you're going deeper and deeper. You're digging a hole with gold mines, like diamonds in the rough for your business, for you and Katie and your team, where, Rachel's contact here led into this person over here, leads into this event over here. You probably got 5 more speaking things lined up with Rachel. Think of that in your coaching business, guys, listening to the show, is one contact, one magazine editor, one supplement company owner, one barbershop person. So it just takes one. But what I think a lot of coaches, Jamie, you probably can test as well to this too, that don't do is they take on too many database people at once.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking the multiplier opportunity stage, not essentials. They take on too many collaborations at once. They try to do all this shiny stuff and don't actually do a good job at one.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And they're also probably neglecting some of their current clients because they're so busy trying to reach new ones. That could also fall by the wayside, right? Like their programming, their email check-in response times. There's so much that could go wrong with your business when you start to think that way.
100%. 100%. Any last thoughts before regarding essentials, opportunity, or multiply that you want to expand on?
No, I think it would just behoove everyone who's heard this podcast that likes it to join Platinum so that you could get so much more wisdom and value out of stuff like this.
What's awesome, James, is that we take concepts that you teach in gold and we just, alter them and basically kind of modify them and improve them for Platinum. That's why when you're in Platinum, you get the newest information expanded upon within our TRM community, like yourself and I and the team, to build on. So guys, if you're listening right now, watch this again or listen to this again, take some more notes and listen to a couple of times, because you're going to, even if you do one thing from this podcast, maybe it's essentials, and do it for the next couple of months, it will generate you more leads 100%.
I was just going to say that. I said, listen to it this month. Just get the essentials down. Save the podcast. Listen to it next month. We're going to get the next layer next month. And then finally you will reach multiply. Yeah. I think that's awesome.
I love it, James. You want to close this out, champ?
Absolutely, guys. If you liked what you heard, please make sure you rate, subscribe, and share our podcast with other people who might need what we have. We want to bump ourselves up the algorithm so that everyone can receive this kind of value. Mathew, where can people?
Mindset_Mathew with 1T and at Trainer Revenue Multiplier, Instagram and our website. How about you, James?
I am at Jaime91, but also at Trainer Revenue Multiplier. We look forward to seeing you guys on the next podcast. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and have the best rest of your day.
Thanks, James. Love it. See you guys.